Alrighty, guys, what's up? We're about to finish Alan Wake 2. I got off work a little early today. Had a little boba tea. It's all gone now, sadly. And now we're going to hop back into Alan Wake 1 and finish things up. But first, I'm going to grab myself a water because I'm thirsty. Also, I forgot I had been forgetting to turn on my screen back there. So now if you're ever curious what we're playing, just refer to the screen behind me, and you shouldn't have any questions. So let me adjust a couple settings, and we are good to go. Nope. All right, so we should start off with a previously on Alan Wake type thing.
Previously on Alan Wake, I wrote a horror story that has come true. Thomas Zane did the same in the 70s.
You will go no further.
If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story. No one will survive.
You knew Zane! Thomas Zane! You're the Lady of the Light in the song!
He left something behind to help me.
Lady of the
As
Light.
he stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, the clicker in his hand, he took a deep breath.
So the clicker was not a zombie
I
in
can
this.
get to her now. I can finish this.
I almost took a drink of my water with the cap on it. The clicker was not a zombie. Episode 6, Departures, 2 years ago. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? My dog's trying to get... What are you trying to do, buddy?
I had a hangover. My head was about to explode and
I have a
the light hurt
hangover.
my eyes. I needed my sunglasses and painkillers to dull the pain. In one of my finer moments of self-deception, I swore to quit drinking.
Who wears sunglasses when they have a hangover? I don't think I've ever worn sunglasses before. That's a lie. I've worn sunglasses before, but definitely not with a hangover.
The sunglasses made the world look
Bro, he looks...
bearable. Now I could keep my eyes open without feeling like a vampire in the sun.
he looks goofy. Painkillers. Bro's taking prescription pain meds. Oh, he didn't even take off the lid. He didn't even
Pills
drink.
worked fast.
Wash it
The
down.
prospect of being awake started to seem bearable again.
Wow, that was fast. No joke.
There was a
Alice.
message waiting for me on the machine.
Guys, we have another QR code. We have to check out the QR code, okay? So I've got it here. Pulling it up. Oh, this is Vision 2. We watched Vision 3 last time, I think. So let me go to YouTube and pull this up. We didn't understand it last time. That's okay. Hold on. Vision 2. There we go. Okay. Should be my history. These are privated videos. They're unlisted, so you have to find them through this stuff. Let's watch this and see.
The dark place was an endless waking dream. I saw visions carried by the ebb and flow of different dream states. They seeped in from the reality beyond. Things I had a connection to, but also things I couldn't possibly know. I used them in my writing to make it real, so that the parts that weren't would become so. And there were visions that I knew were not real. Ideas I had lost, often of Casey. I had written about him for years.
Who's Casey?
I used them as well. The lies had to feel true for them to become true. Had I always written this way?
Bro doesn't even know how to type on a
Even
typewriter.
before. Seen things without realizing I was seeing them. Thinking they were mine. Was this what inspiration was for me?
I don't know who Casey is. Do we know who Casey is? I don't know. I don't know who Casey is, but all right, let's get back to the game. And then let me pull this up. All right. So we found 2 visions. There's what? Probably at least 3?
Ow!
Ow!
Still asleep? Wakey, wakey! You should have your show on your TiVo. If Alice was
On your TiVo?
as she called me earlier and really chewed me out. Yeah, we went a little overboard last night. But parties are a part of this business. Al, look, I'm saying this as your friend. She's not doing your career any favors by trying to run your life like that, okay? I'll talk to you later, Al. Watch the show.
Oh. Barry's not a fan of Alice. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Harry Garrett Show.
The Harry. Oh, these are real people.
Thank you, everybody. We have a great show tonight. I've been talking with the best-selling author Alan Wake about his new book, The Sudden Stop.
I love how his name's bigger than the title.
Good read. Go buy it.
No, it is a good read. Look, I'm gonna be honest here.
Is that wise?
No, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I got people who give me the lowdown on books. I'm a busy guy. But this one, I actually read from cover to cover. I mean, I'm a big fan.
Wow, thanks.
Now, this might be a spoiler for those who haven't read the book yet. Based on the sales figures, the 2 people out there who haven't read the book yet.
Very
But
corny.
This last book is all about the death of the main character, the hard-boiled.
Oh, Alex
detective,
Casey's is the
Alex
character.
Casey. Now, there's been a lot of outrage about this. Why the hell did you kill Casey? What the hell were you thinking, man?
Good riddance. No, seriously though, 7 years and 6 books is a long time. He was a gloomy guy to spend all your working hours with, and it was a good run. But it's time to explore new things. My next book will be a departure from the old for me.
You selfish bastard, always thinking of yourself. Well, you've certainly given us a lot of entertainment over the years. And now that you mention it, Casey was a gloomy guy. Never had much luck with his love life with the ladies. Was that autobiographical
Oh.
anyway?
Yeah, no kidding. Casey's lady friends tended to die on him. With Casey, it was all about his pain. No, nothing autobiographical about that. I'm a happily married man. My wife is my muse.
Well, congratulations. That's great to hear. So, how's the publicity tour been treating you?
Good, great. But I gotta say, I'm glad to be back home in New York.
Well, you've certainly been on the news a lot lately. Lots of parties and, you got into a fight with some paparazzi.
This is literally what
man.
late night
Well,
television's
that
like.
guy was really in my face.
They're
I
being
lost my
very
temper.
like satirical about it, but
You are famous for that temper.
Well, I did also write several books.
Well, your latest novel is called The Sudden Stop, and it's in bookstores now. Go get it. That means the 2 of you out there who haven't bought it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you tonight. I want to thank all our guests for the evening. Alan Wake, Sam Lake.
Sam Lake.
Face for a Sam. There it is.
Sam Lake
Our
is the
musical
person
guest,
who made Alan
Alex in the
Wake.
Fall. Thank you.
Like the game.
Good night.
He's like the director, right?
I told myself I could live with that.
Hey, honey. Did you watch the show?
I didn't say anything stupid if that's what you want to know.
Okay, Grumpy. You want an aspirin or something?
Are you going to start with me about drinking now?
You know what? Go
Alan.
back to sleep, Alan.
Yeah, go back to sleep, dude.
What? Now you can't even talk to me?
Well, this
Alan.
morning I was angry because you said you'd be home at midnight and you showed up at 7 a.m. and passed out in mid-sentence. Now I'm over it. Are you angry?
This goddamn tour. It's gotten out of hand.
Oh, honey. It's almost over, right? We can get back to normal. Then you can start writing again.
I'm sorry, honey.
Alan, you're not thinking straight. Just take a shower and go back to bed, huh?
Yeah, you're right, honey. I'm sorry.
The faces look so bad.
Let's go away together. A vacation. Just you and me. Some peace and quiet.
A vacation to Bright Falls. Back to the present day. We're still in the
Somehow,
well-lit
The
room.
clicker was the key to the cabin. I had to return to Cauldron Lake to save Alice. I'm going back to the lake to finish this. I'm going to write an ending to the story in the manuscript on my own terms, to make it all right.
Why can't you just write it here?
The last page is still in the typewriter. I need to read it first. Everything needs to be just right. Zane tried to cut some corners, and it didn't end well.
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but I need to do this alone. Barry?
No.
Take her gun. Miss Weaver, close the door when I leave.
Why is Barry taking her gun?
Good luck, Al.
See you later.
I'm confused why Barry took the cop's gun. Also, let the cop and Barry go with you. Oh, of course, now I got the
When I
crappy
got
little
out,
gun
It
again.
was warm and sunny. I'd flicked the switch of the clicker. Had it done this? I didn't stop to question it. I had to take advantage of the sunlight to get to the lake. On Zane's page, I'd stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, about to use the clicker. That's where I was headed.
So evidently this was initially supposed to be an open world game. Then they kind of had to cut some things back during development, and it became what it is now. I'm kind of glad it's not an open world game. I think that it's good how it is.
Alone, in daylight, surrounded by the beauty of the Pacific Northwest landscape, it was hard not to let doubt creep in one last time. I could still chalk
Thermos.
everything up to a dream, a delusion. I had enough imagination to make up something like this, having been in the cabin all this time, trapped in a story inside my head, gone mad from grief over Alice's death like Hartman had claimed. There would be no way of knowing. I told myself it didn't really matter. My course was set.
So all the people that tried to use him, tried to get him to write them into the story in a way that made them powerful. But they didn't realize that there's really only one page left of the story, and that Alan has to go to the wherever to get the last page. I don't know how this is going to end. We know it doesn't end great because Alan Wake 2 is happening, right? So what's going on? Uh-oh. Well, I don't think we can drive past this. And it's dark in here, so...
The darkness had touched me. There was a link between us, always would be. I could feel its presence again.
Alice is just in her underwear the whole time. No, it's dark.
Kill your wife.
Why did it get dark? It was just daytime. So no. Don't have too much fun. Oh, we do have the big lantern back. Nice. Okay. They didn't hurt me there. Also, get out of here, bird. You better not call any of your friends. Oh.
The dark presence was no longer trying to capture the writer so he could create the ending it wanted. The writer knew too much. He was too strong. And he carried a weapon left behind by Thomas Zane, something that could hurt it. Now, the darkness was doing everything in its power to simply stop the writer from ever reaching Cauldron Lake and the dark place it came from.
So, the darkness is from the lake itself? I don't think it's ever been made clear, like, why there is darkness. Like, what is the origin of the darkness? Maybe we'll find that out in Alan Wake 2. Oh! Wow, I suck at driving. You're not gonna stop me. Turn on my brights. Oh, have we driven through here before? This place looks familiar. Maybe not. The Majestic Hotel. Ooh, there's a ramp. I'm sure I'm passing all sorts of like collectibles and stuff. Really don't care. Ow! Hold on, can we drive down here? Ooh, I think we can. Nope. No, we can't. Tough. Oh well. We gotta get out of our car like always. I really like the car though. Oh. Freaking inanimate objects. What is that over there?
What the hell?
Oh boy. Oh, there's a page, I think. Give me the page. That's not a page. Never mind, I take it back. I'm about to sneeze. Ow. Goodbye, Alan. Now it's gonna... yeah, I was about to say, it's gonna restart me way back. I guess this wasn't too bad, but... We got batteries and flares. I think one of those things tries to kill me.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's the wheel. And the barrel. Okay, so that thing is bad. So it's pretty easy to tell which one's bad. So first off, this fridge is bad. That little thing right there. That one's bad. Ow! I think this one's okay. Huh. Ow! Ow! I didn't know these things were following me. Oh, there's a thermos. Oh, no, that's a license plate. Kind of looked like a thermos in terms of the color, though. Oh, don't make me fight another excavator? Excavator. I don't want to fight more farm equipment or whatever. Oh boy. I'm fighting it. They're really they really love their ow. I did not mean to throw that flash, but it worked.
Nice to see you, too.
Oh, we got a car. Nice. This is a nice car. But... dude, I feel like it's definitely like reaching the climax of the game. Why did I stop? Why am I stuck here? Oh my gosh, they have evil cars now. And I'm stuck. And now my car is damaged. Oh, please don't blow up my car. Dude, we're gonna play Demolition Derby? Heck yeah, man. Dude, my car, look at that back tire. It is, oh my goodness, my car's toast. Oh, they got a monster truck. Holy crap. Oh, I'm toast. I think we should just run for it. I think we can outrun it. Come on, Alan. We got a new car. Oh, we get our own truck now. Oh, I shouldn't have parked in front of the door, eh? Unfortunately, that gave the truck a little bit of time to catch up, but I think we'll be alright. Oh. I am getting stuck on everything. We're gonna make it. 50 miles per hour? Oh, is that a... I think that was a page on that car back there. Oh well. We don't need it. Keep going, Alan. Ignore the school bus. Ignore this flipping school bus. Whoa! Oh, I might have gotten stuck. Uh-oh. Okay, we gotta back up a little bit. There we go. So they're gearing me up for a fight. Somewhat. I've left my car behind. Can I drive this car? No. Wouldn't that be so helpful? Checkpoint reached. I'm just saying, I don't trust all this black goo. I'm gonna walk up here, be attacked, backpedal directly into the black goo. We're just gonna run. There's light up here. I meant to pick up that flare. Give me the page. Ha. I don't want this page. There we go. I feel like I've missed some already. Oh, maybe not.
Cauldron Lake was a graveyard of things the lake had claimed in one way or another over the decades. The dark presence brought them up in its wake, scattering the rotten waterlogged hull of an old boat here, the remains of a long ago crashed airplane there, trees shattered under the impacts. The earth groaned. It didn't even notice.
Interesting. There was definitely some supplies back there that I missed, but I don't think it matters. We're playing on easy. Ooh, car. Can I drive it? Yes. Yes. How much do you think you have left? I would say about an hour. That's my guess. About an hour. This place looks familiar. Have we been here before? I don't know. Here's the thing though. I think I have about an hour. Good timing syncing up with 2. I'm trying. Yeah, that was the plan. I think I have about an hour left, but there are also 2 DLC episodes that I did not plan for. So I don't know if I'm gonna play those or if I'm just gonna watch a video about them. Because I didn't even think about DLC episodes. And then not even counting American Nightmare or the Control stuff for Alan Wake. Because I never played all the Control stuff. Like, I played and I platinumed Control, but then they came out with their DLC afterwards, and you know how I am with the DLC. I'm fairly inconsistent.
I had to get the gate open.
I have to imagine it's up here somewhere. I hear footsteps. Not the gun I wanted to use. Then open the gate. Ah! God, that scared me. I feel like I've been scared more the past 2 episodes of this than I have the entire rest of the game. I think I hear other footsteps. I'm like mad that I got sponsored for Lord of the Rings at Finals Betas tomorrow. I want to finish Spider-Man and Mario so bad. Yeah. So, Spider-Man, yeah? Yep, I know what you played. And, man. It goes places, eh? Hey, dog, don't hit my car. I'm borrowing it. It's something else. It's truly something else. That's a magnet. Is it gonna suck up my truck? So I did number 5 now, above Hogwarts and Street Fighter. Dude, it is. I get it, I guess. Like, I get why it's not a number 1 for you. But there's just no competition. It is my favorite game of the year. The only thing that could compete with it is if Sly Cooper came out with something, or if there was another Spider-Man game.
Zane cut its heart out, but it didn't die. The thing that wore Barbara's face kept crooning sweet nothings sugar-laced with poison. He put on the suit, untied the monster from the chair. The thing in his arms thrashed weakly, but he held fast. He stepped outside, off the pier, and into the dark water, a sinking pinprick of light descending toward a bottom that never came.
Interesting. I played most of Spider-Man with Allie right beside me. Dude, I was grinning like a stupid little child the whole time I was playing that game. It was just everything I wanted. Was she into it? She was. She was a fan. Yeah. It was... I literally... I don't think there was a single moment in that game when I wasn't just sitting there smiling while I was playing it. Oh, that sounds bad. Not another freaking tractor. I'm tired of fighting tractors in this game. Uh-oh. I think the game does have my best, not my best, my favorite representation of Venom in like interactive media though. The Venom's just so like imposing. It's so good. It's definitely better than Sam Raimi Venom, which is just hard because I love Venom, but Sam Raimi Venom, he didn't want it in there either. It's definitely better than Sony Venom with Tom Hardy, which, let's be honest, it's not very hard to do. I like Tom Hardy a lot, but Sony Venom kind of sucks. I don't know how I missed it, but I watched the unboxing you did this morning. Dude, I was giddy in that too. I just can't help it. Anytime it comes to Spider-Man,
When I told Barry
I'm
my
just
plan
so
back in the well-lit
freaking
room,
giddy.
I'd acted as if I knew what I was doing.
It's a great statue
didn't.
compared,
I
right?
was operating on the shifting logic of a dream. I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
The statue on the new one is so much better than the last one. And the last one was a great statue, but this statue is just fire. It's sitting, you can see it right behind me right there. I don't have anywhere to put it. It's so big it doesn't fit on my shelf. But yeah, it's so good. It was also like $100 more expensive. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been 5 years, so I don't remember how much I paid for the collector's edition for the first one. But I think it was like $150. Maybe it was like $180. And then this one was $230, so about $250 with tax. But it's worth it. I love Spider-Man. We're about to fight.
I will never give her to you.
Oh, God. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I did a little TikTok about it, or like a YouTube short about the difference in the statue, and YouTube just butchered the quality on that one for some reason. I need to repost it and maybe I can get better quality, but oh well, I'm not that worried about it. I went out of my way to make it, and then it just butchered the quality and really pissed me off. Uh-oh. Ah! No! He's got a chainsaw! I thought, I really just want a lot of exposition, honestly. That's what I want. This is a new mechanic. I don't think we've ever pushed anything in this game before. Yeah, it really does feel like we're getting right near the end.
I could see Mirror Peak in the distance. That's where Cauldron Lake was.
Yeah, Wouldn't have been nice if you could have just driven the entire way there. They are gearing me up. Do we get an RE4? Oh my gosh, it's like we're playing Resident Evil 4. Oh no, we have to defend from the freaking birds, man. I hate the birds. The birds are the worst part of this game. This is the slowest cart I've ever seen. No, not the birds. I hate the birds. I hate the birds. Ah! There's only one thing of birds. Normally they throw like 4 at you. I don't know. This ladder looks promising. No, not the birds. I hate the birds. Alan, I know you can just walk past this thing. You can shimmy around it. There's plenty of room. It would have been so much faster to just shimmy around this thing. Please, not the birds. Go. We gotta go. Get away from the birds, Alan. No! Ah! They just come out of nowhere, and they make an awful sound. I hate that sound. Ow! I'd rather fight these construction workers. Ow! Oh, I thought I stepped in another bear trap. You know, when I was a kid, I really thought bear traps were going to be a lot bigger problems than they really are. You know? It's like bear traps, man. I got to watch out for those. I don't think I've ever come close to stepping a foot in a bear trap. More supplies. Is that a hat? Can I put on the hat? No. This game does make me want to go replay Control, just because Control's so good. I would play a Control 2. I think that's in the works, right? Oh, of course. Oh, I hate these guys. These ones that teleport are ridiculous. Like, how am I supposed to fight these guys? They don't even stop long enough for me to... There we go. Jeez. Ginny. Let's repair the Ginny, guys. You know, I've played Dead by Daylight maybe 3 hours of my life, and I gotta say, I don't ever want to play it again. Dead by Daylight is one of those games that I am so surprised that it is as popular as it is. I think it's just a really boring game. Mamma mia. Where is this dude? Where's the teleporter dude? It's over there somewhere. It is so annoying. Oh, great. My battery's dead. Where'd you go? Come here. Come back here. Why does he get to teleport? It's not fair. Ah! There's so many of them! Dude, they just tried to jump me. You know, I've gotten better at where I spend my resources in this game. Although this teleporty dude makes me want to spend everything. Dude, if I get a clear shot on one of these hoes with a flare, yeah, there we go. Oh, or a flashbang. Dude, flashbangs went hard at the start of the game. Yeah. Take that. Oh no, not more construction. I feel like I have to fight construction equipment a lot in this game. We're almost there, Alan. Uh-oh.
Oh, crap.
She just threw a train car. She just threw a van. Oh, and another train car. Oh, wow. Oh, and a boat? Dude, she is pissed. Oh, a bigger boat. Oh, wow. It's kind of a bad shot, though. What just hurt me? Oh, it's probably black goo. Checkpoint reached. Are we Sacred Symbols Last Stand Media listeners now? I think we might be. I need to, you know, I need a good PlayStation podcast, you know? PS I Love You's alright, but, you know. The darkness wears her face. Jake, are we gonna be canceled? Are we gonna be canceled for listening to them, though? I guess it doesn't really matter. They're very short. Yeah, they are really always short, aren't they? I guess they have to do that to get the volume that they want. But they are always rather short for my liking. Maybe, who cares? I agree. I agree. I agree. Hey, dog, maybe we can reach out and get a collab.
I needed to get the generator running.
There's the generator. I'm gonna be attacked. Dude, I am loaded with stuff right now. You know, they were kind of right, though, about Easy Allies dying. I have zero interest in listening to Easy Allies. I like Kyle Bossman, but since he's not with Easy Allies anymore, I mean, there's really just nothing there for me. Oh, that's not what I wanted to shoot. Sorry, farmer man. Yeah, it's crazy. I guess Colin posted a no poaching allowed image and said, yeah, right. People think he's making an offer to Brad to jump ship and join. Oh, really? That'd be interesting. Yeah, I think so. They kind of did old boy dirty. Dustin? Was that his name? I can't remember. I'm not super familiar with them, but like having him on the show and then just like saying, yeah, sorry, we were mistaken for having this dude on our show. He seems like a perfectly respectable, nice guy. I guess I just hate like the whole, I do hate the whole like listening to your community thing in a certain way. Like yeah, sure, you want to listen to your community and like kind of cater towards them to a certain extent, but like if I choose to make content that I enjoy, I'm not going to apologize when somebody says they were unhappy with my choices. I think that's wrong. And I think that's when they let like parasocial relationships garner too much influence.
After Zane had gone, I stood alone in the shifting dream that was the dark place. I had to find a way to the cabin. I'd written myself a way through this place in the manuscript. I followed the idea of a path. I'd written myself across the ocean that blocked my way, and with that, there was a bridge to the island beyond. The idea of the cabin flickered in the underwater darkness. I willed the cabin to be real, and it was.
It's magnified by higher tier Patreon supporters. People that put $100 think they have a say. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think I've had that same problem in the past with Twitch and stuff.
Back now.
Oh my god, stop showing that. That's making me anxious. It's like I appreciate you guys for supporting, but at the end of the day, I make the choices of what I want to play and who I want to play with. And I think whenever you get to even an even bigger media company, it just, those lines get even more blurred because people are donating not $5 a month, but hundreds of dollars a month. And there's a mixture between they think you owe them something, but also you got to just stand your ground, and like those people are supporting you out of choice, you know? And if you do something, they choose to change their support, so be it. Which I guess for Easy Allies, if they're struggling, then they need the money. But I don't know. Just I guess I wouldn't compromise myself like that. I don't know. All right, guys, can we chill here? Can we just chill for a moment, please? I'm gonna toss a. There we go.
Do as you're told.
Stop throwing rocks at me. I think parasocial relationships are like the worst things ever. I'm very thankful for my viewers, very thankful for people who support me, but we're not friends, I think is where it goes down
Alice
to.
never loved you.
There are, oh my gosh. There are definitely lines that have been crossed. Like I would call you my friend and some others. But for the most part, it's a transactional relationship. I think I'm in the dark place now. Oh no! Oh. That thing was coming at me fast.
You can't win.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
You can't win.
Pick up flare gun ammo. Yeah. Woo. Let's see what we can kill there. Dude, this is dope. Dude, all you need is just a massive stockpile of flare gun ammo and you're set. Of course I go exactly when something flies across. This is like the one strike in Destiny in the Dreaming City.
You can't win.
Ma'am, I disagree. Hold on, we're gonna shoot this way. So, boom. Oh, okay, so those can't be destroyed. I'm just gonna have to time it, eh?
You will fail.
You will fail.
It's all in your head.
You're in my head. No, 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 not the birds. No, no, no. Sound design is kind of crazy here. He's doing a leap of faith. He's an assassin. Hold on, I need the sound. Alice. Is this how he ends up in the dark place?
Shh, baby. You were having a bad dream. It was just another nightmare.
No,
Everything's fine. You're home.
it wasn't a dream.
Everything's fine.
Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on!
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light.
Baby, it's
Activate it,
cold
I'll make you forget all about
outside.
your fear in the dark.
my fear?
Hey,
It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid?
baby mama.
You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the
Hey.
clicker? What did you do with it?
Alan, honey, you're still 1 foot in a dream. You're not making any sense. Come back to bed.
No, 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 no. Find the clicker. Oh, you're out here
Alan,
too, eh?
You're scaring me now. Come back to bed. Have you taken your pills? Do you want me to call Dr. Hartman?
No. Have you taken your pills? Shut up,
I
woman.
read your manuscript. It's brilliant. Departure is your best work yet. You're a genius. I'm so proud of you. Come back to bed. We'll talk more about it in the morning. Come back to bed, Alan.
What is it?
Come back to bed, Tom.
Duh. Tom. It's my boy Tom.
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass. It has no heart. It's filled with darkness. You must fill its heart with light.
You just said it has no heart.
Don't mind him. He's Mr. Your friends will meet him when you're gone.
What the heck
Use
is
the
going on?
clicker.
Are you gonna check out the finals tomorrow this weekend? Is it on PlayStation? If it's on PlayStation and I can find time for it, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's definitely something I'm interested in. Okay, I don't want birds, okay? Phone, barrel, bird, shopping cart, crate. What does this say? Am I dumb or are these supposed to be words? Oh, they are supposed to be words because it's a book. Yeah, I'll totally pick up. I'll check it out. It's a free open beta. Why not?
I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Alan. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what do you say? You can't.
You don't love me. How could you? You don't even love yourself. All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse.
I'm not.
Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
Alan? What are you doing? Put the light back
Going
on.
through November 5th.
What are you doing, Alan? Stop! Put the light back on!
It wasn't true. Nothing like that had ever happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good. Please, untie me, you naughty boy. I will help you write your masterpiece. I will love you forever.
No, you're not Barbara Jagger. I made a terrible mistake. I should have never written you back. You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas. Put it down.
My heart is filled with darkness. I'll cut it out. I'll take you back to the depths you came from.
I willed the cabin to be real. Filled with darkness.
Oh, there's cabin right there. I overlooked it. Bird leg cabin. Yeah, a little short free battle pass that transfers to the real game or the full game. That's nice. Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to
Get away from me, you hag! Where am I? Let me go!
I'll have to download that.
Alice! Alice! I'm coming!
Your husband refused to do as he was told. All he had to do was write what I wanted.
Oh, I cut off some of the dialogue.
Now you will never get her back.
I am
Much older than you.
Obviously.
older than your first work of art. I will find a new face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
What the? I guess we filled her heart with light.
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light.
Alice? Alice? Oh no!
Ark used Xbox to promo their game on their consoles coming soon, then Shadow dropped the PC version on Steam. Ark is a game that I just have absolutely no interest in, and everything I've heard about them sounds so scummy. Oh, she's swimming back up from the dark place. Look at that hair, bro. Alice, you made it back. The whole game we've been trying to find Alice. She was trapped in the dark place. Alice, be careful. You'll get a splinter.
Alan?
I bet Alan swapped places with her. That's how he ends up in the dark place. Is this seriously how the game ended 10 years ago? And people in Bright Falls just go on like nothing ever happened, yeah? Deer Fest. Yeah. The old two geezers, the crazy geezers. Wait, who's that guy boarded up in the background? That's Rose. She got touched by darkness. Oh, that's the FBI agent. I guess they found him.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
Of course this game needs a sequel. It ends with him stuck in that room? Ah. Okay, we're not going to play the DLC. I've already decided. But what we are going to do is we're going to go back to the menu of this game, see if there's any extra content or extra features that they want to tell us about. And then we are going to watch videos. Extras? Statistics. Ooh. Kills. Oh my gosh. I found 71 of 100 thermoses. Can pyramids knocked over. You know, I found a bunch of those, and I didn't know if I was supposed to knock those over. Alarm clocks. Cardboard standees. Nice spring video games. Lots of collectibles, man. I killed 688 birds. I hate those birds. Hate them. So, episodes. I'm a little confused. Where are the DLC episodes?
Who are you? What have you done with my...
No, this is... Episodes easy. Oh, here it is. The Signal and the Rider. Okay. So that seems to be about it for here. So let's watch some videos. If you guys are done with, you know, watching the main game, y'all can bail, but we're gonna watch some videos about what's actually going on leading up into Alan Wake 2. So Alan Wake DLC movie. The Signal, I think the Signal's the first one, and then the Rider. So this will just be
previously on Alan Wake. Something I only know as the Dark Presence held my wife captive and used her to write a horror story that came true.
I'll bring her back.
Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story.
$720p? No way, dog. 1440.
Alan?
I saved Alice, then wrote a better ending for the story. But not without a price. I was trapped somewhere in the dark place, a strange zone somewhere beyond our world.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
It's an ocean.
After the completion of any difficult undertaking, there are mixed emotions. Accomplishment and relief. Sadness, depression. For a while, everything was about the work. Like an illness, it consumed you, changed you. You locked yourself away from the world to do it, and now you need to recover. Learn to live without it. Find a way to crack open the door and let the light back in. I knew this place. It was familiar, but wrong somehow.
Welcome to the...
Oh.
Everything had a surreal, dreamlike quality. I knew it was my writing, but the words were jumbled, dreamlike fragments. Reloading frantically. The rounds slippery stones throw away from the tent. The bed looked inviting, but it was just the radio. I had to go on. She was startled by the phone.
We're gonna watch an explanation video after this.
The GPS system was working. I hadn't expected that.
There's satellites in the dark place. Dr. Hartman.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Really, Wade. Really, Wade. Come on. Your delusions.
It's cool sundial.
Why is this happening to me? There's no way out. No way out. No way out. I need to get out of here. No. How do I get out of here?
So I guess that was him realizing he's trapped there. So that looks like he's realizing he's trapped there, and then let's watch the rider.
Previously on Alan Wake.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
After saving my wife from the mysterious dark presence, I found myself trapped in the dark place.
Imagination can be the enemy here.
A nightmarish world that exists somewhere beyond the shores of our own existence.
We're the one making all this happen.
Just do what Zane tells you.
Follow the signal.
Is all this really coming out of my head?
The dark place is playing tricks on you.
I made my way across its ever-shifting landscape, trying to reach Thomas Zane.
You're trapped in your own nightmares. You're still going deeper.
There you go, Alan.
Oh, it's Barry.
It's
Nope,
all
it's
in
Dr.
your
Hartman
head.
now.
You've been making it up.
Really, Wake.
Your delusion.
Delusions are out of control.
Get out of my head.
Seriously, Al, you need to get a grip. You know reality's different here. See what I mean, Al?
Oh, there's the lighthouse. That's the start of the game. Diver's Island.
Why is this happening to me?
Imagine getting stuck in the quiet place with those uncomfortable shoes.
Why is this happening to me? I can't find my way. It's too dark. Why is this happening to me?
Just like that, my mind was clear. Zane had been right. I could think clearly again. But I couldn't survive in this place the way he had, and I might not make it back a second time. Leaving this place would be hard. Maybe impossible.
I'm so lost. Me too. Dude, it is like you need a degree to be able to understand this.
It was too easy to get lost in the dark place.
The dark place is some alternate dimension where bad things are, and it makes you
Let myself
confused.
slip away.
It's kind of like the Upside Down or something.
But here I was. The yet unwritten future waiting to unfold before me.
And
a sequel to Departure.
They teased a sequel to this.
My name is Alan Wake, and I'm a writer.
Return. They teased it so long ago, dude. We're gonna watch let's see what we need to know from Alan Wake and American Nightmare. American Nightmare explained. It's got 2 hours of cutscenes. Oh my gosh. No way. Alan Wake explained, did American Nightmare really happen? Actually, Alan Wake is 2023. Where's Alice Sleep? Alice is the name of his wife. I'm going to go to the restroom real quick. I drank too much water. And then when we get back, we'll continue to watch more of this stuff and try to figure out what we're preparing for in Alan Wake 2. So I'll be right back. We're back. Let's figure out what's going on here. Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to watch a diss about American Nightmare. We're going to watch videos about the control thing, and then I'm going to try to find a video that sums up everything going into Alan Wake 2.
Since his disappearance in 2010,
Oh my god.
Alan Wake has been trapped inside the dark place, alone with only a flashlight and a pistol. The Bureau found a typewritten page slipped under the spiral door in the ocean view.
Oh, this is
signed by the author, in which he describes his time inside.
Yeah, that's control
Within
stuff.
that decade-long imprisonment, Alan had many adventures, most of which remain completely unknown. He mentions sending out smoke signals, but the nature of this is unknown. With the exception of the events from the Signal and Rider DLC, there is only one other story we know during this time. That would be the events of American Nightmare. Roughly 2 years into his imprisonment, Alan is caught up in a new manuscript of his own creation. In a quick summary, there is a signal received by Dr. Rachel Meadows that contains information to help Alan defeat the Herald of Darkness, Mr. After finding out, the demon tampered with
Mr.
machinery so only fractions of the signal could be seen. While trapped in a time loop, the writer little by little finds more of the message until he has the recipe to rewrite the world and take Mr. out of it.
Mr.
Please see my previous Alan Wake video for additional details. In short, this was achieved because Alice Wake showed the world the man she knew with her film, Sunrise.
Look, all that stuff really gets blown out of proportion. He had his problems, but it's really frustrating for me because people like to talk. They love to tell these crazy stories, and they never really knew him at all.
The story of American Nightmare takes place within the fictional town of Night Springs and concludes with Alan meeting up with Alice and sharing a kiss by the sunrise. But did this really happen? This game has been described by the developers as a standalone spin-off, and as such, some have questioned if the story should even be considered canon. Because of Control, we know that about 7.5 years after this story, Alan is still in the dark place and unable to break free. With this in mind, the image we see of Alan escaping the dark place at the end of American Nightmare couldn't have happened, could it?
It's just
Based
a
upon
story
the evidence
that
I'm
you...
going to present, I would argue it did in fact happen for real. This is a personal hypothesis, so I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on the topic.
Dude, American Nightmare looks like straight
Night
up Alan Wake,
Springs
eh?
doesn't exist. It's a fictional town from the TV show I used to work on. It was Any Place USA, a place we used as a backdrop for whatever strange story we had that week.
Night Springs is a fictional town that is the center point of the story. It is based upon a TV series of the same name that Alan once wrote a few episodes for.
Now Night Springs is in Arizona, although not for long. It's in Arizona because whatever the town that has become Night Springs is really called is located near one of the thin, worn places in the world where dreams and reality flow together and life is always a little strange.
Bright Falls was a little weird because of its proximity to the lake. This town, which I shall call Desert Shore, is a place of power as well, due to its proximity to the oil derricks.
The oil derrick.
For the purposes of his story, Alan reshaped that town into Night Springs and slipped out briefly to enter his creation. Within the Arizona desert, Night Springs would manifest like an oasis sprouting to cover Desert Shore with Alan's creation. As soon as the story concluded, Night Springs would recede back into the dark place, leaving Desert Shore intact. We see the same dynamic occur when Barbara Jagger manifested Diver's Isle and Bird's Lake Cabin at the start of the main game.
Yeah.
As soon as its purpose was served, it vanished. I am curious, however, if Desert Shore has caused other AWE events in the past, or will cause more in the future.
It's not so much a story as it is a sort of an echo, showing us how you saw your husband at the time. It's not really about the sunrise itself or Alan watching it. It's about you two together, I suppose.
So I have to imagine
looking at it now.
Alan's a rider, and he's riding while he's in the dark place. I have to imagine that American Nightmare is something that he wrote while he was in the dark place.
Now, especially now that it's been edited like that, it takes on a life of its own almost.
Also, it kind of looks like Tobey Maguire.
Kind of fantasy.
I used to know where fiction ends and reality begins.
We're gonna watch more of this this Alan Wake Control stuff. This is what really interests me, because I love Control so much.
Fear, desire.
can I ever know for sure I've escaped and not just lost in my own fantasy of it? That thought alone can drive you insane.
Alice refers to the Sunrise film as a fantasy of hers, and Alan specifically states that he can never be sure if he ever really escaped from the dark place, or was simply trapped in a fantasy of it.
Yeah.
A fantasy is defined as a pleasant situation or event that you want to happen and enjoy thinking about, especially one that is unlikely to really happen. We all fantasize about things we want to happen.
My bad.
The images we see in our heads are real in a certain sense. Just like Fantastica from the Neverending Story is a world of human fantasy, our imagination is real, just existing on a different tier of reality than the one we live in. Ask anyone who spends time reading fiction.
Alan.
Sometimes the world, the characters, and the history of a book take on a life of their own and are real in their eyes.
Stories come naturally to us. We can't help it. There are many different worlds, many competing realities within our heads, fueled by books, television, even barely remembered childhood tales. There's an endless supply of fictional concepts more familiar to us than anything or anyone real. We have a far greater connection to
Sorry,
the
guys,
fictional
pulling up
characters
videos in the
we
background
know and love
to have ready.
than the random people we pass on the street. Our destinies and inspirations are shaped by lies, myths,
However, the fantasies in our heads can never be brought into this objective reality until
I
we
keep clicking
take
the wrong
action.
buttons.
We imagine ourselves getting the job, but it takes effort on our part to make that really happen. We fantasize about a story in our heads, but until we put pen to paper, it will only ever exist within the reality in our minds. The ending of the game, showing Alan reuniting with Alice, was just that, a fantasy. A reality that was formed and experienced by the writer, but only within the confines of his prison. Alan mentioned that he had sent out smoke signals into the objective reality. What exactly would this look like? We know that aspects of him can be seen all throughout Quantum Break, but for the purposes of American Nightmare, the smoke signal hits closer to home.
Yo, I didn't know Alan Wake was in Quantum Break. Quantum Break's a fire game.
As previously discussed, a fantasy is a world we create in our minds.
I don't know if that's
But
like an Easter egg or if that's like for real.
Another type of fantasy that we have all experienced at one point or another. That would be dreams.
Quantum Break was such a weird game.
The world of a dream is a reality of fantasy and allows our inner voice to speak to us.
Oh my god.
through the
Okay,
use
here's
of
what I'm saying. Anytime I watch a video essay and they just give me definitions from Webster, it's like I don't care about
personal
that.
symbolism.
I
Please
know what a
refer to
dream
the
is.
Alan's Nightmare video for more details on this. If Alan can create realities from his dark cell, it is feasible to assume that he can create dreams as well. When discussing Mr. we spoke of daemon spirits. One such entity was Morpheus, the spirit of dream. He was a messenger who, on behalf of the gods, carried specific dreams and planted them in the minds of the sleeper. The story of American Nightmare began with Barry Wheeler on tour with the old gods of Asgard and passing out in a motel. He falls asleep watching reruns of Night Springs, and Alan's smoke signal, the reality he created in American Nightmare, was planted into his dream. It is my hypothesis that even as Alan struggled in the Arizona desert, Barry was dreaming of the entire event happening. Alan's manuscript, whether by intention or accident, created a dream for his best friend, or more accurately, a nightmare. After the sunrise, the episode of Night Springs is over, and Barry wakes up, the dream having ended. He calls out for Alan, convinced he heard the voice of his lost friend. At the end of the day, yes, the events of American Nightmare really
Bro, American
happened,
Nightmare is just
but only
straight up a
as
sequel.
Alan's
I didn't realize
fantasy
that the
and
gameplay was
Barry's
so
nightmare.
similar.
The objective reality is the one we can touch and taste, the one we live in, but the worlds we imagine in our minds can be just as real. It simply requires us on the outside to take action and bring these fantasies into the objective reality. The dark presence was unable to free itself and required help from a creator on the outside to form the crack and bring the scratching hag through. Alan's strife parallels this. He is unable to free himself while trapped inside the prison. The manuscript for the story within American Nightmare is entitled Return.
Is it? Or is that Alan Wake 2?
In another town, a woman named Samantha finds the cover page of Return within a shoebox located in her attic. On that page, in Alan's own handwriting, he wrote of Campbell's monomyth and the hero's journey. Within the return phase, the 14th step of the hero's journey is entitled Rescue from Without. To quote, "Sometimes the hero will require aid from a third party in order to return home from the realm of the supernatural. The hero indeed may need to be rescued himself." Luckily, the Bureau has a new director, and the investigation section,
Control's
which
so
contains
cool.
all research on the Bright Falls Altered World event, is soon to be opened. It appears the third party will be Director Faden, and it is my hope that during the AWE DLC, she will be the rescue
This
from
is
without,
before the
and
AWE
finally
DLC.
return the lost hero.
No, that was a fake out though.
This act of creation is
The third party is going to be Saga from Alan Wake 2.
exhilarating and frightening. Subtext and symbols loom eager to take effect. Causality and consequence become domino chains that stretch into infinity. The more fundamental the change, the more unpredictable the variables become. Reality is too complex to control completely. Ordinary questions become meaningless. Who created who? What is really real? Everything is as real as everything else. You learn to let go of the things you can't control and go with the flow, or go insane.
Hold on. I'll be honest. This video was a waste of our time. I have no idea what happened in Alan Wake American Nightmare. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's continue. I've got a couple other ones. This is Alan Wake and Control Explained. So let's watch this one.
For the 10 years since Alan dove into Cauldron
Is
Lake,
this the same guy? It is. Oh, okay, whatever.
most of what occurred to him is unknown. We witnessed a few snapshots of this time briefly within the Signal and Rider DLC, as well as within American Nightmare. These events, however, are only a few odd pages in the story of his time there. After 10 years since the original Alan Wake and 8 years since American Nightmare, we finally get a peek behind the curtain at the torment suffered by the missing writer. Before getting into the plot details, let's talk about the psychological strain this man has been put under. For starters, we can consider Alan as being stuck in a form of solitary confinement. The only individuals he comes into contact with are either figments of his imagination or hostile entities attempting to either kill him outright or release their darkness upon the world. Under the best of circumstances, prolonged periods of solitary confinement can lead to physiological and psychological issues. These can include severe anxiety, paranoia, emotional extremes, and cognitive deterioration, as well as visual and auditory hallucinations. One of the most documented studies on this was done by a Dr. Donald Hebb from the McGill University in Montreal. He isolated them and placed them in a state of sensory deprivation. This included white noise headphones, blackout visors, and apparel to mitigate physical sensations. He originally intended to observe them for up to 6 weeks. However, most broke and left within the first day or two. The longest, only up to a week. The findings suggested that after only 48 hours of solitude within this dark space, the mind begins to do weird things. One subject reported seeing a group of eyeglasses marching down a road, or another who reached out to turn a non-existent doorknob and felt like he was being electrocuted by it. While this is localized to the mind in real life, for Alan, these kinds of effects can be life and death. The dark place allows whatever unconscious thoughts he has to be manifest into reality, so any hallucinations are real. The Signal and Rider DLC showcase firsthand the dangers of our own psyche. This, however, will be a topic for another video. Dr. Heb witnessed a 2 to 7 day breaking point for the volunteers. Imagine being trapped in a similar yet more dangerous environment for a full 10 years. We have only witnessed Alan 3 times within this decade in the dark. When he first entered, during the events of American Nightmare, and within the spiral door or hotline calls seen within AWE. With this final brief look, we finally get an idea to what exactly has occurred within the decade-long imprisonment. American Nightmare was the attempt at a story and was intended to facilitate his escape. The narrative of this manuscript began with the loss of his memory leading up to it, so he was forced to rely on his own writings for guidance. Unfortunately, it did not end the way he wanted. The reunion he desired was only a projection, one he witnessed from within his prison. We learned within AWE that these events were not the only story he wrote during his solitude. There were
I was right. It was a story he wrote during his solitude.
several. Most, if not all of them, are a complete mystery to us. The troubling thing is that they are a complete mystery to Alan as well. Over the years, it looks as though the memory loss became a reoccurring thing.
I know that when I arrive, the clarity of vision I have now may disappear. I've made my plans. I prepared for this, but I know the transition from the dark place will be hard on me. And not just physically. It may affect my mind, my memory. These pages should help me remember and focus. That's worked for me before. Even if that fails, I think I will be able to trust my instincts. I'm navigating my own story. I'm hoping I'll know where to go and what to do, even if the details elude me.
If he doesn't know, I don't think we as the player will ever learn just how many stories he wrote and what unintended consequences came from them. External investigator Lisa Keenum noticed something that could give us a clue. In the report entitled AWE Rising Frequency, she brings attention to the fact that ever since 2010, the rates of AWE cases has been rising. However, she cannot point to the cause for this increase in AWE activity. One possible solution to this question lies in the knowledge that 2010 was the year that Alan vanished into the dark place. In American Nightmare,
He could be
manifested
riding
the town of Desert Shore.
Alan could be writing AWEs into existence.
Into the Arizona desert as the setting piece for that story. It is very likely that his other failed attempts created AWEs that the Bureau responded to. While there is no confirmation on this, I believe we may have one example of this happening. Let me know what you think about this. The Kiev AWE from August of 2011 involved an incredibly loud sound coming from an unknown location. Symptoms emerged for those who heard it, including aphasia, or damage to the language center of the brain, and sleep paralysis. This is experienced in hypnagogic and hypnopompic states. For those unaware, let's define these. As is common knowledge, there are 2 primary states of consciousness, wakefulness and sleep.
Yeah, let's just read through more Websters and kill another 45 minutes.
There is, however, a third state that exists during that transitional period between the two. In this state, dreamlike visions and hallucinations are common. The hypnagogic state is when the individual is falling asleep, while the hypnopompic state is when they are waking up. People have reported visual, auditory, or even physical hallucinations during these mental states. Another common occurrence during this state is the phenomenon known as sleep paralysis. This is when one is conscious during that gray area between sleep and wake, but their body is temporarily paralyzed. Once, these were believed to be caused by demons who sat upon your chest at night, and only after fully waking up would they leave. Now, it is believed the brain paralyzes the muscles during certain stages of REM sleep. While asleep, we are unaware of it, but in hypnagogic or hypnopompic state, it can be a frightening experience. One possible explanation for the results of Dr. Heb's research was that through sensory deprivation, he placed the volunteers into an extended mental state somewhere between wake and sleep. Moving back to Kiev, if we trust the Bureau's researchers in their belief that the noise was created by planar friction, we must question what secondary plane of reality is rubbing against ours. This event occurred 11 months after Alan vanished into the dark place.
There are places where our world is worn thin, and another reality brushes against ours.
One such site is Cauldron Lake near Bright Falls, Washington. But there are others.
It is possible that one of Alan's first attempts at return revolved around forcing a new soft spot in reality for him to escape through. Using his own words, it is possible that the planar friction that was the assumed cause of the Kiev AWE was the dark place reality brushing up against ours. As the Bureau's report mentioned, those closer to the epicenter of the event had more intense symptoms, one of which was sleep paralysis. This, as we previously discussed, occurs during a hypnagogic state. Since the dark place represents the unconscious portion of reality and the prime threshold is the conscious one, the place where the planar friction occurred could easily cause symptoms attributed to the hypnagogic state. Granted, there is no concrete evidence to support this hypothesis, but it is a possibility. There are several other
I'm about to get sleep paralysis from this video.
examples, including the return trailer found in Quantum Break, the events of This House of Dreams, and an untold number of AWEs that we
I want to know what that is in Quantum Break.
have no knowledge of. The question that is left to us is what happened during these other manuscripts. Did the story end in failure like an American Nightmare? Or are some still not complete? It appears that AWE follows the events of one of these manuscripts. Now that Jessie has done her part
Defeat
in putting
Dr.
these into motion,
Hartman.
the stage is set for the next story to play out as written. Based upon the ending, it appears there will be a time skip to 2022, where a new Bright Falls AWE is set to begin. But what about the other stories? The ones that were overwritten, forgotten, incomplete? Will they ever show back up in weird and unexpected ways? An example of how these may appear can be found in Robert Heinlein's short story, The Unpleasant Profession of Jonathan Hogue. I won't go into full details about the plot in case anyone is interested in reading it, but I'll give a brief overview. The protagonist is a man who has no memory of what he does during the day. All he knows is that his bills are always paid and
This is a
he has
miserable
no money
video.
concerns. Hogue hires a pair of detectives, Ted
Control, Alan Wake expansion. How Control and Alan Wake are linked? Let's just watch this IGN.
Remedy's Alan Wake is a psychological action thriller heavily inspired by Stephen King and surreal, supernatural TV shows like Twin Peaks and The Twilight Zone. It became a cult hit but never had a direct sequel. Almost a decade later, when action-adventure Control launched, eagle-eyed fans noticed the two games were in fact set in the same universe. Lynchian storyteller Sam Lake sprinkled clues across both games, from subtle Easter eggs to reversed messages hidden
Oh, that was a thermos.
in the game's soundtrack. The new AWE DLC unveils an even deeper crossover between both games' storylines. So now is a great time to summarise what we know about their connections so far. Oh, and naturally, beware major spoilers for both Alan Wake and Control, and very minor spoilers for the AWE DLC.
My name is Alan Wake.
In Alan Wake, a writer of the same name travelled to a small town named Bright Falls. Here, the mysterious Cauldron Lake acted as a paranormal gateway to an alternate dimension, home to a malevolent entity called the Dark Presence, capable of transforming innocent townsfolk and mundane objects into hostile forces. What's more, the lake itself had reality-altering properties, bringing the writer's fiction to life. Control reveals that the supernatural event players witnessed in Bright Falls was not an isolated incident. In fact, this event and many others like it are studied by the Bureau and classified as an AWE, or Altered World Event. In Control, players uncover documents explaining how the FBC is fully aware of what went down in Bright Falls.
Hold on, we're going to read that paper. Bright Falls, AWE 35, unconfirmed threshold manifestation at Cauldron Lake, Washington, resulted in fictional story written by author Alan Wake, creating an AWE, in which reality was altered to match that of the story, though only locally for a limited time. Mr. Kirkland, head of investigations, was alerted on September 13, 2010 by ex-Bureau agent Frank Breaker. The AWE event was taking place in Bright Falls. So that was 70, 76, 78. That was the Tom one. Breaker had received a call from Barry Wheeler on behalf of Breaker's daughter Sarah, who's a current sheriff of Bright Falls. Wait, so Frank Breaker, Sarah's dad, who said that he had a bunch of crazy stories, worked for the Bureau of Control. Okay. Site 2 days later only confirmed that the event was over. Alan Wake's believed to blank instigator. Eyewitness reports highlight an old switch, possibly an object of power, is missing. Wake was not found at the scene. Reports claim he dived into the lake, but no body was recovered.
Aware of what went down in Bright Falls, that Alan himself is still missing, presumed dead, and that his light switch, the clicker, is undoubtedly an object of power. His wife Alice was even interviewed by the FBC when they were tipped off by ex-Bureau agent Frank Breaker. Fans may recall his daughter, Sarah Breaker, was the sheriff of Bright Falls.
Yeah.
A secret containment chamber also has one of Alan Wake's typewritten pages on display. Finding it triggers a vision of Wake writing. One note even details how the collectible coffee thermoses from Alan Wake are now treated as altered items, given their proximity to the event. Alan Wake's spin-off game American Nightmare also references another AWE like the incident at Bright Falls. The song Balance Slays the Demon featured on the soundtrack has a hidden backwards message. When reversed, it says, "It will happen again, in another town, a town called Ordinary." We now know this is the AWE that occurred in the ironically named hometown of Control's protagonist, Jesse. As both Alan and Jesse have experienced one of many AWEs occurring across the world, it seems the supernatural forces seen in Alan Wake are much more vast than we originally believed. As Alan himself says,
"It's not a lake, it's an ocean. It's an ocean."
Control introduces the term para-utilitarians, gifted individuals capable of using paranatural abilities, often by binding themselves to objects of power. Para-utilitarians are often sought out by the Bureau for their Prime Candidate program, used for seeking out a suitable successor for the director. One such suspected para-utilitarian is Alan Wake himself. Bureau documents reveal how Wake had been flagged for his potential paranatural abilities, seeing as he was able to tap into the power of Cauldron Lake to alter reality through fiction, and has participated in, and therefore been altered by, an AWE. It's obviously in the Bureau's best interest to locate Wake. Hopefully Jesse's journey into the investigation sector in the AWE DLC could give us a lead to the writer's location.
Some crimes are impossible to punish, especially in Night Springs.
Seen throughout Alan Wake, the fictional TV show Night Springs was a homage to the Twilight Zone, and it's connected to the weirder, wider goings-on of Control. Among the game's many collectibles is a document that discusses how Night Springs was originally just a sci-fi show, but was eventually rebooted by the FBC to introduce paranatural concepts to the public. In addition, during Alan Wake, Sheriff Sarah Breaker asks Wake's agent Barry to deliver a message to a select few people in Bright Falls to get help, issuing the code word
Night Springs, okay? They'll know what to do.
Perhaps this emergency response code word is what tipped off the FBC that Bright Falls was experiencing an altered world event.
Are we men dreaming of being butterflies, or butterflies that
Dreaming
dream of being men?
The dark presence that plagued Wake is not limited to Cauldron Lake, as players will discover in Control's AWE DLC. Having been summoned to the investigation sector by a vision of Wake, Jesse will come up against the same shadowy entity Wake faced in Bright Falls. Just like Alan and his humble torch,
They can be hurt in the light, only in the light.
Jesse will need to use a light source to defeat it.
It's the same stuff.
Even Christmas lights can be useful in the fight against darkness.
What are the Christmas lights for?
Protection, man! Like garlic against vampires?
More unseen horror and unimaginable mysteries are waiting in the investigation.
Hold on, well, I feel like that's all we're missing now is Controlled Explained. You know what? I have this. There's an hour one. We're not going to watch that. Sam Lake explains Alan Wake's story so far. This is by IGN 3 weeks ago. Sam Lake made Alan Wake.
Oh, God! I am your biggest fan.
The story of Alan Wake, his American Nightmare DLC, and Ventures into Control is one full of twists and turns through dreams and reality. To help us untangle the tale is Remedy creative director Sam Lake, who has kindly recapped the horror writer's past for us as concisely as possible. Or at least, that was the aim.
Okay, let's see where we get. 5 minutes is pretty tight.
Ahead of Alan Wake 2, here is the Alan Wake story so far.
My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Alan Wake is a New York-based successful writer.
Could they not have gotten a better microphone for this? Are you joking? IGN, give them your Yeti, bro. Like, why you got this like $10 lapel on him, okay? Give him a mic.
He has made his career hugely successful writing these hardboiled crime books set in New York. But he is not satisfied. He's struggling with his life. He's struggling with his marriage with his wife, Alice, who is a photographer. He just feels that this commercial...
Let's be honest, he's not struggling with his wife. He's a dickhead, and his wife is supporting and kind of getting over it.
Literature, he's seen all of it. He wants to move and do something more about kind of like from him and more artistic. So he kills off his cash cow, Alex Casey. And then he hits a block and he discovers that he tries to write, he can't. His life is spiraling out of control. He's drinking too much and arguing with his wife. And ultimately, Alice suggests that they should just go away and have a break and kind of have a vacation. It's kind of a last-ditch attempt to fix their marriage. So they go on a vacation to Pacific Northwest, this kind of an idyllic, beautiful, majestic landscape, quirky, idyllic small town setting of Bright Falls.
We need to stop at the local diner to get the cabin key from the landlord, a Mr. Carl Stuckey. He's waiting for us.
And they have rented the cabin. And they arrive. There is some confusion. They don't meet the landlord who is supposed to deliver the keys and directions. Instead, Alan meets this kind of a creepy old lady in a funeral costume, Barbara Jagger, who hands him the keys and directions.
I wish you a good stay in my cabin. I'll come by later to check how you've settled in.
Yeah,
they
that was
go
the
to
first
the cabin.
freaky thing.
They are slightly surprised that it's not what was advertised. It's this, but it's gorgeous. It's this small island on this caldera lake called Cauldron Lake. They settle in. That's when Alice reveals that she's been in talks with a local doctor called Dr. Hartman.
He has a private clinic here. He specializes in helping artists.
So now you want to get me committed?
No, it's not like that. That's not...
He gets really mad about this. He doesn't want to do anything. He didn't come here to write. He storms out of the cabin, cools off, and then suddenly he hears Alice screaming for help. He rushes in, sees her disappear off the edge of the balcony, feels that she has fallen in, dives after her, everything goes black. He wakes up in a car crash on a forest road at night, confused, starts to find pages of a novel, the title page, like saying that he's the writer. He can't remember writing any of this, but the title of the book, Departure, is what he has been mulling in his mind.
That was the name I planned to use for the next novel I had never gotten started.
These pages are clearly a horror story, talking about this kind of a supernatural force of darkness waking up and starting to take over the locals. All of this starts to come true. He runs into the landlord that they missed. He's covered in shadows, angry, crazy, attacks him. He manages to defend himself with a flashlight. And so light is an active mechanic against forces of darkness. And then kind of getting to back to civilization from the forest, he runs into the local sheriff, and she is saying that there is no island. There used to be an island on the lake. There is an active volcano under the caldera. There was an earthquake in 1970 and the island sunk in. There is no island.
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head.
So he's confused, he's struggling, trying to piece it together. His agent, Barry Wheeler, comes to help him.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
He keeps finding more pages, and this horror becomes like more and more real around them. There seems to be this some sort of a force of darkness, the dark presence, trying to get him. He ends up at the clinic, and Dr. Hartman is claiming that Alice drowned, and he is kind of blocking that out and coming up with this fantasy to deal with it. And he should stay at the clinic under his care. But there are other patients there as well. There are these old, crazy rockers, Tor and Odin Anderson, who used to have a heavy metal band. They are saying, this is happening for real. This is a special place. Art can kind of like change reality here.
It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
And
That's
they
the sanest
give him
thing I've heard in a while.
directions to act upon. He decides to trust them, the crazy guys, instead of this doctor. Escapes, experiences some visions that show him the missing week. diving into the lake and waking up in the crashed car where he's been trapped in the cabin because we find that there is this kind of an opening into a nightmare dimension under Cauldron Lake. He calls it the dark place. It's kind of this nightmare dream reality, and he was trapped there for a week. Barbara Jagger, this old lady, who is also the dark presence, made him, holding Alice hostage, made him write this story that would have this fiction come true and release the dark presence and empower the dark presence.
I wrote it. It's my fault.
But he started to understand this because this has happened before, and he was finding evidence that in late 60s, there was this other artist, this poet living at Cauldron Lake, Thomas Zane. His fiancée, Barbara Jagger, they were there, and she drowned. Then he started figuring out that this place has power and fiction can change reality, and he wrote her back to life. But because these forces of darkness in the dark place are affecting reality, actually she came back wrong. It was actually the dark presence in her shape. And he realized his mistake. He tried to correct it. He killed her, carved out her heart, and he was an enthusiastic diver. So he tried to kind of rewrite reality to take all of his mistakes out and dove into the lake with her and disappeared.
She stole the skin of my Barbara a long time ago. She looks so old.
I will show you this. A light switch.
Oh, the clicker.
See? Alan Wake's background. As a child, he was afraid to go to sleep. He was seeing a lot of nightmares. Mother had given us kind of a chunk toy and said that this is from your father, it will make the scary things go away. When Alice was afraid of the dark, he gave it to her. And now he finds it as if it had been left behind by Thomas Zane as a gift for him. With fiction coming true, we have this confusion and these open questions like, how did Thomas Zane know about this? Did his writing back in the day affect what Alan Wake is experiencing, change reality around him? Or is it now Alan Wake's writing conjuring up Thomas Zane as a helper for him? We don't know. He gets the clicker. It's a powerful tool against forces of darkness, a light switch.
I can get to her now. I can finish this.
He dives into Cauldron Lake, goes into the dark place, finds the cabin there, faces Barbara Jagger, the dark presence there. She has a hole in her chest because Thomas Zane cut out her heart, shoves the light switch in, flicks the switch, light blooms, and the dark presence is banished. He writes in that cabin, in the dark place, an ending to the story because there was no ending. It needs to follow certain laws of drama. At least to him it's important that this fiction comes true. And he writes Alice out from the prison that the dark presence trapped her in the dark place. He has to pay a price, so he is stuck in there. And that's where we leave him.
It's not a lake.
It's an ocean.
Alan, wake up.
We had downloadable episodes. They show his crazy struggle in the dark place. It goes pretty kind of wild and nightmarish. And we have this idea that because it's really kind of taxing and it's hard not to go crazy, he kind of goes crazy. And we split him apart. So the crazy part is stuck in the cabin, but we are actually playing an aspect of him trying to get to that cabin to kind of fix things. In the end, he does. And he sits down to write a new story to escape.
My name is Alan Wake, and I'm a writer.
Then Alan Wake's American Nightmare came out. Early on in his career, he was screenwriting for this anthology show called Night Springs, which is kind of an anthology show of horror and sci-fi and speculative fiction.
Night Springs.
He wrote some episodes, and now desperate in the dark place, he's kind of like trying many different things because he keeps failing. He tries to write fiction that would allow him to escape, change the dark place around him to open up and release him. But it's very tricky. Spoiling the context of how we see American Nightmare is, it's one failed attempt in the context of an episode of Night Springs. We bring in Alan Wake's dark double called Mr. Scratch that we already introduced in the main game. He's the villain. He's trying to get to Alice.
Show yourself!
Mr. Scratch.
And we are also kind of building this idea that while he is in the dark place writing, he is seeing some glimpses and visions from our world, from the real world, and using them in his writing, trying to make it more real so that the parts that he adds and changes and nudges would come true more readily. So we have Alice with her photography and her video installation art on a festival in Night Springs. Mr. Scratch seemingly has escaped and is threatening her, and Alan tries to stop Mr. Scratch. We are also bringing in elements of, well, the dark place is really messed up because it's kind of a dream logic reality. There is this kind of a looping that he keeps on going through. In the end, he succeeds in defeating Mr. Scratch. It's left open for interpretation. We see Alice's art, which is this video of their earlier holiday when they were happy, and they are reunited in the form of that projection of that film. And it was kind of left like, is this a happy ending? He is still stuck in there. So it's one example of a story he tries to write to escape, but it's a failed attempt. It's an example of failed attempt, and there's been many through the years.
Are these actual events, or merely a dream? A memory, or a glimpse of what is to come?
Now we come to Control finally, and Control reveal. We have Federal Bureau of Control, which is this secret government agency dealing with weird phenomena in the world, paranatural occurrences, altered world events. And we discovered that they actually came to Bright Falls to investigate after the events of original game. And so they know about it. Then in the downloadable episode called AWE, we have Alan Wake in a bigger role. Once again, the idea being that he is seeing glimpses of the real world, including FBC and FBC investigating. So he's bringing that into the story he's writing, kind of nudging and pulling, trying to have change reality so that FBC, in this case Jesse, the new director, would help him.
Jesse Faden could hear it.
That FBC, in this case Jesse, the new director would help him.
What does that sound?
Jesse Faden could hear it. A call.
Jesse Faden.
It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place.
We also kind of pick up with certain strands that kind of have happened in between. Alice starting to see nightmarish glimpses of Alan.
Oh, let's read this. After reaching out to the Bureau, Alice Wake was brought into the oldest house for an interview in 2017. The interview conducted by Agents Shaw and Dempsey revealed Mr. Wake had been Mrs. Wake has had recurring nightly visitations from her missing ex-husband in her New York apartment. Mr. Wake appears out of nowhere and rushes at her down the corridor. According to her impression, he appears crazy and horrifying, clearly coming at her with violent intent. Mrs. Wake believes that he is haunting her, insisting he is not Alan, but a monster in his body. Mrs. Wake has not been sleeping out of fear of these visits. Her attempt to keep the lights on through the night and relevant hallway light bulbs breaking every night, possibly indicating involvement of the blank. Further investigation required.
As a monster at their home, we obviously understand that, well, that sounds like Mr. Scratch. And she comes in, cover that Dr. Hartman, having lost everything, but being obsessed about the lake and the dark place and fiction art used to change reality, goes into the lake and comes out as a bacon. So he's turned into a monster. FBC has captured him, brought him to their headquarters to examine him. When Alice comes in to have these interviews about what's happening, somehow Hartman senses that and goes berserk. And then when the hiss comes in, it goes into Hartman, and he already has the force of darkness in him, and this kind of like hybrid merges into something really, really monstrous, which is what Jesse will be facing or faced in AWE DLC. We also find some hints that, well, there is an Alex Casey, an FBI agent called Alex Casey, who is looking for Alan Wake and his disappearance and reaching out to FBC. They're wondering about it. Unfortunately, because there are casualties with Hartman and the whole sector is closed down, a lot of these strands on FBC side are left hanging. We don't know what happens to Alice. clearly FBC didn't follow up on that. So, and it's been years ago, like we don't know. So these elements are still question marks. How this whole thing ends is that we see on monitors an alert of a new altered world events taking place at Cauldron Lake. They have their monitoring station set up there, and now there is an alarm. There is confusion. There shouldn't be any alarm because this place is closed off, but somehow it's coming from the future.
It might be a glitch. The date's all wrong, a couple of years in the future.
Now we are in that future, and like you will see how that alarm comes to be in Alan Wake 2, and we are picking up the story from there. Definitely what has been going on with Alice and many other things.
Agent Estevez is the field agent in charge of monitoring the site, so she should be there to let us know if the situation has been through any major changes recently.
How long was that? I'm sorry.
For more on Alan Wake 2, check out...
That's awesome. That was the best video we could have watched right there. I don't know why we didn't watch that one first. That's dope. And then one or two more videos. Alan Wake 2. We're going to watch a trailer for Alan Wake 2. We can do the launch trailer, I guess, technically. Came out like an hour ago. It's only a minute and a half. Sure. Let's just watch the launch trailer.
Peggy 18.
And call it good.
Peggy 18.
The killer left the heart next to the body. This wasn't some random act of violence. This was a ritual. A page of text written with a typewriter. Someone's been watching us.
How do you run from an idea? From a story that lives in your head?
Return.
I need to escape this nightmare.
Wake says the story will change reality around us.
That's really cool.
Why are we written into the story? I brought you the Heart Witch. Show me the terror.
Show me the terror.
I think it's going to be pretty good, dude. I do. I think Alan Wake 2 is going to do numbers. That's pretty good.
Peggy
man.
18.
That's pretty freaking good. Oh, dude, look. They've got all the Alan Wake 2 stuff. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Okay. There's lots of cool stuff. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me show you. Let's look at this. Boom! Alan Wake 2, right there. Monsters Wear Many Faces. It's already downloaded, ready to go. But we gotta wait a little over a day. So I don't know when I'm actually gonna be playing it because I do have some stuff going on. But I will be playing it very soon. So appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks for those that hung out to the very end, watching through stuff, trying to catch up and see what's going on in Alan Wake 2. I think we're prepared. We are well prepared now. And when we get there, we'll get there and have a great time. So appreciate you guys for watching. If you had a good time, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, catch you next time.